Hi everybody, I'm Andrea. I'm the new Youth Services Librarian here at Smith Public Library, and I am going to be doing the BeTween book club with you from now on. So I am so excited to be doing this. I can't wait for the day that we can actually do this in person, but I hope that you're enjoying what we're doing so far. This month's book is Charlotte Webb by E.B. White, and so I read the book and I watched the movie. I watched the cartoon. So which one did you guys watch? Did you know that there's two movies? There is a cartoon and there's also a live action movie that they did. So let me know, which one did you like better? Did you like the book better? Did you like the cartoon better? The movie? Which one did you watch? Personally, I like the book better, but I always like the book better. I think there's usually a lot more detail in the book that kind of explains things that happen in the movie. But if I was to choose between the movies, I would choose the cartoon because that's the one that I watched when I was growing up. And I just really like the songs and it makes me want to sing along. All right, so let's get started. I already asked what you liked better, the movie or the book. And how about characters? Who is your favorite character? So I'm going to say that my favorite character is Charlotte. And my second best favorite character is Fern. And these two characters have a lot in common because they both love Wilbur. They both want to take care of him, and both of them saved his life. So I think that they are very nurturing characters, nurturing being that they like to take care of people. They like to take care of the ones that they love. And that is why I like those characters. But how about you? If you have a favorite character, make sure that you comment and let us know. How about the themes of the story? So did you notice an overall theme with this story? How about friendship? I think friendship is a big one because Wilbur relies on his friends to help him through. I think there was a lot of stuff that happened with him that he wouldn't have been able to get through it without the help of his friends. And it's always nice to have help from your friends and to know that they're there for you, isn't it? I think so. Yeah. All right, so when Wilbur first meets Charlotte in the book, he has a specific impression of her. Do you guys remember what that is? Do you remember how he felt about Charlotte? I'm going to read a really quick passage, and it's going to kind of discuss how he felt about her. And then if you want to, you can tell me what you think about it. Charlotte stood quietly over the fly, preparing to eat it. Wilbur lay down and closed his eyes. He was tired from his wakeful night and from the excitement of meeting someone for the first time. A breeze brought him the smell of clover, the sweet-smelling world beyond his fence. Well, he thought, I've got a new friend all right, but what a gamble friendship is. Charlotte is fierce, brutal, scheming, bloodthirsty, everything I don't like. How can I learn to like her, even though she's pretty and of course clever? Wilbur was merely suffering the doubts and fears that go with finding a new friend. In good times, he was to discover that he was mistaken about Charlotte. Underneath her rather bold and cruel exterior, she has a kind heart, and she was to prove loyal and true to the very end. So it seems to me that he was kind of unsure about Charlotte, wasn't he? And that was right after he found out that she's a spider, and what do spiders eat? They eat insects. And I think that kind of scared him and horrified him a little bit. But she turned out to be a really good friend, didn't she? Like I said earlier, she saved his life. And so what does that kind of tell you about first impressions? Have you ever heard of the line, never judge a book by its cover? That kind of goes along with this. So sometimes you may not know someone is going to end up being a good friend. You can't decide or judge that just by when you first meet them, because you don't know. Have you ever had that happen to you where you met somebody and you weren't sure if you liked them or not, but then they ended up being a really good friend? I know I've had that happen to me a lot. So Yeah. So that's just something to think about, and I think that's something that this book does a really good job with, like, going over, don't you? All right, so let's see, what else do we have going on? So Wilbur wasn't sure about Charlotte right away, but what do you think about Charlotte? Do you think that she liked Wilbur right away? Why do you think that? You know, what was it that I think that she liked him right away? And I kind of think that she liked him just because she liked the way that he was, how content he was to be in the barn at first, and she just kind of liked him. But you tell me why you think Charlotte really liked Wilbur. So how did she save him? What was the way that she saved him? She wrote in her web, correct? So if you were to write something in your web, let's say you're a spider and you wanted to write something in your web, what would you write about Wilbur? What are some words that you would use to describe Wilbur? I would probably use kind. He's very kind to his friends, isn't he? I would say that he is brave, even though there are times that he is scared. He does own up to it, and he does face his fears in the end. How about Charlotte? So let's switch it, and let's say that Wilbur was able to write about Charlotte. What do you think Wilbur would write about Charlotte? What are some words to describe Charlotte? I would say some words to describe Charlotte is smart. She's very caring. She's compassionate, which means that she really cares about things. She really does what she feels like she needs to do for the people that she cares about. And she's very creative, don't you think? I think that would be a hard thing for her to do, you know, to make her webs, unless she was very creative. And here's a question that I love. What do you think about Templeton the rat? Do you think he's a good guy or a bad guy? So that's kind of hard, right? Because he's a rat and his best interest is himself. All he really cares about is food and getting food for himself. But he does a lot to help Charlotte save Wilbur's life, doesn't he? So he goes out and he finds words for her to use. There were other times where he had helped them out, but he grabbed Charlotte's eggs and brought them to the crate so that they can come home to the barn. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? So he did those good things, but he was offered food as a reward. So does it count when you do a good deed if you're only doing it because you know you're getting a reward? Let me know what you think, okay? All right. What about the other animals in the barn? How do you think they felt about Charlotte and her web and what she did for Wilbur? Do you think they cared about it? Did it seem like any of the animals? I think maybe the goose cared a little bit, don't you? How about, I don't know. How about the sheep? The sheep didn't really seem to care all that much. The sheep was a little bit more honest than anything else, weren't they? Yeah, I think so. And what do you think about the story overall? Do you think it's a hopeful story or do you think it's a sad story? Can you think of like what exactly happened in the story that was really sad? So if you have not read the book all the way to the end, this is just a little bit of spoiler. So, you know, I want you to mute it if you want to, or you can listen to it and you can, you know, read on with knowing what happens. But Charlotte does die at the end, and it's only because she's old. Like, spiders don't live very long, but she died doing what she wanted to do, which was help Wilbur. So that was a sad part in the book, but I think the book was also hopeful, don't you? Because she had her babies and they like live on and they have their babies and they live on and there's always new life, and that's kind of how life is on the barn or in the farm, that there's a new life always coming and going. And it's hopeful too because she was able to save Wilbur from becoming bacon. All right, so let's talk about the movie a little bit. What are some of the differences between the book and the movie? Was there anything that you noticed right away between the two? So the cartoon was a musical, so that was one thing. The live action movie was not a musical, so that was a little bit different too. But what are some of the big differences that you noticed in the movie? So some of the differences that I noticed was in the movie, Wilbur had to be taught how to talk. In the book, he already knows how to talk. Like, all the animals know how to talk. And in the book, he had to learn it. Also, in the movie, Wilbur was really sad when he first gets to the barn. He's lonely. He misses Fern. But, you know, in the book, he's a little bit more content to be at the barn, or be in the farm and be at the barn, isn't he? He likes being there, although he gets a little bit bored and he does escape. And that's something that happens in the book that does not happen in the movie. He just wants to see what's out there beyond the barn, and it becomes pretty crazy and, you know, chaotic pretty quick. So what are some more of the changes? Well, in the live action movie, Fern brings Wilbur to school. That doesn't happen in the book, and it doesn't happen in the cartoon either. So that was something that was very different also. There was also crows in the movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that in the live action movie, not the cartoon. And the crows are not really characters in the other books. So what do you think about having additional characters that are not in the book? I think it added to it. I think it was a nice addition, but, you know, everybody's different how they feel about that stuff. I think also the live action movie was able to, like, give a lot more feelings to the way that, like, Charlotte felt for Wilbur. I think that, like, you can tell that she cared for him, but at the very end of the live action movie, you could see that she, like, you know, it was a very heartfelt moment, and you could tell that she really, really loved him. All right, so that is some of the changes or some of the differences between the two. What were some differences? Did you, like, let me know? Let me know what you thought. All right, so that's the book, Charlotte's Web. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the movie. I hope you enjoyed the cartoon, whichever one you watched. If you want to read anything that is similar, we have Stuart Little, that's also written by E.B. White. We also have, by the same author, The Trumpet and the Swan. And all of these are located at the Smith Public Library. And we also have The Wind in the Willows and Mercy Watson, which is also a fun little book about a funny little pig. So I hope you check these out. All of these books really do a lot, have a lot to do with friendship and with animals and humans being friends and working together. Next month, for the month of March, we will be reading and watching Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. So make sure that you register for this book and come and pick it up. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you comment and get some good discussion going. And I will see you next month. Bye.